run a company called Action Gear, which is an e-commerce specialist in sports electronics. We've been operating in South Africa for going on 8 years now. We were the first guys in the country just to start selling GoPro cameras. And we built out our range from there, and we've now moved our focus to drones, which is a very popular product at the moment. We still do the GoPros and the cameras, we do sports watches and all that, and just focusing at doing a really a good job as best we can at selling stuff online. So I guess I'm here, and hopefully I can add some value to you guys today.
Great. Rosalind, what is PayFast all about?
Cool. So my name is Rosalind, and I am the Business Development Manager at PayFast. So PayFast is a payment gateway. So we facilitate the payments between your customers, if you are running an e-commerce store, to be able to receive payments from your customers via a variety of different payment methods. So that would include credit cards, instant EFT, Bitcoin as well, which I believe you just had a talk on as well, MobiCred, MasterPass. So we have a variety of different options for customers to pay, and our biggest focus is on small businesses and how we can facilitate getting small businesses up and running online as quickly as possible when it comes to payment. And the way that we do that is we offer the various different payment methods that I've just spoken about, and then we also have integrations into a number of different platforms that allow you to list your products. So those would be the shopping cart platforms or invoicing platforms that would be what you are using to run your business, but then you need to facilitate payments for those platforms. So we offer all the integration for that so that you don't need developers on hand to do that.
Great. Out of curiosity, who already runs an e-commerce store? Like whose business is literally on an e-commerce platform? All right. I think that's a fair amount of numbers. But for some of us who don't understand what e-commerce is, maybe Warwick, you can tell us, what is e-commerce?
Sure. It's I'm sure hopefully everybody here would have a good understanding of what it is in basics. It's just selling your products online. So the true e-commerce store wouldn't have any physical presence in terms of a bricks and mortar store. So you would have your office with your team of people that answer emails, answer phone calls. You'd have your warehouse separately where you keep your stock, and then as orders come in through the site, you're just processing those. You're just helping your customers to get their products, but they wouldn't be able to walk into your shop. The modern day e-commerce trend is to actually have a multi-channel focus. So you would have a shop of sorts together with your office space, with your support staff. And that way, it's becoming a much it's a trend today because of consumer demands to actually want to come and touch and feel the product, and then you can service both the customer that's happy to pay online and just receive delivery in a couple of days by courier, or the guy who actually wants to walk in and buy. So it's a way that you can just open yourself up to more sales.
Okay, brilliant.
I'm going to extend on that a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think e-commerce is, for the most part, just retail online, and I think that's a perfect definition for that. We have products that are being sold online, and it's effectively a different channel or a different storefront for a retail business. But that definition in itself is also starting to expand a little bit. So coming from a payment perspective, e-commerce to us has started to broaden. So that includes people who are freelancers, who are invoicing clients for their work that they're doing, and allowing additional payment options for people rather than the traditional just bank-to-bank payments. And that's particularly important with today's world, where we are becoming much more worldwide. So to be able to accept payments from international people does get complicated when you're dealing with bank-to-bank payments. So it's from our perspective, e-commerce has started. It's not necessarily the true definition of e-commerce, but online payments and having an online business is becoming different. You don't necessarily need to have an e-commerce business to be using some of the tools that are designed for online businesses.
Okay, great. So you started and established this e-commerce store, if you may call it that. And what are the key elements? How do you actually just start this? What are the key elements and components of starting an e-commerce business?
So I think it largely comes down to starting any business. Like if you walk around here, it's all about being an entrepreneur and starting your business. And in my opinion, the first step that you need to take is just take the first step. So setting up an online store is super easy. If you're a person who's familiar with a smart device, jump online, choose a website building platform and just play around with it, because setting up these stores is so user-friendly that even with very limited experience, you can choose a theme, you can turn on your account, you can add some products, and you can have a store live within a day or two it might not be the best store in the world, but being an entrepreneur is all about taking those first steps. So get your site live and do it yourself if you're happy to. Otherwise, speak to a developer, but more and more these days, I believe that you really can just do it yourself. Our site is built on Shopify, and that's a site that I really recommend for an e-commerce platform. You log in, it's kind of like creating a Facebook profile. You choose your theme, which is kind of like the platform that you're going to sell on, how the structure sits. You add some images, you add some products, and then you've got your Facebook page. So Shopify is really a really easy platform to work with, and it's also super reasonable. The starting price is $30 a month. So in terms of being an entrepreneur and getting things started is really easy. Then today's e-commerce is far easier than it used to be. Like when we set up 7 years ago, just getting the ability to sell online with credit card was super difficult. So it was a lot of red tape. It took us 8 months to be able to take a credit card transaction on our site. Whereas now, if you have a lot of the platforms are aligned with PayFast, with Rosalind, like Shopify is. That's the one that we use, and that allows you to just click a button, install a payment gateway, and your customers can come and then spend credit card, can buy your products with credit card. They can also choose to pay by EFT. So now these are the steps. Like suddenly you've got products online and you're able to take payments, so you're ready to go. Now you just need to make sure that you can actually deliver the product when the customer orders it. So do you have to carry inventory, or do you have to set up a relationship where you can drop ship? So drop shipping is like how we sell sports watches. If somebody buys a Garmin on our site, it'll say it's in stock. It's not sitting in my warehouse, it's sitting in Garmin's warehouse. And once that order comes through, I send my courier to pick it up from Garmin, take it straight to the customer. And that's the drop shipping process. So you got to choose, like, do you want to carry your inventory where you've got the inventory cost but you can service your customer a lot faster, or do you want to drop ship? So really it's just about getting the site up, setting up your payment gateways, and then just knowing that you can actually deliver on your promises. So in my opinion, like, starting an e-commerce store today is far easier than it used to be, and certainly far easier than most people would think.
Great. Rosalind, you'd like to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the primary point here. Really, is that a lot of the hurdles that you have to figure out in setting up an online store have been solved already. There are solutions for these things that are pretty one-click, get online. I think what I find the biggest thing that a lot of people end up struggling with is that they overthink a lot of these decisions, and you don't need to, because you can change your mind. And I think that's something to realize with an online store, with an online business. If you choose Shopify today and you decide a year down the line when your store is starting to grow a bit more that you want to use a different system, you can switch. These are not set in stone decisions, so don't overthink them. You just have to pick one. Pick the one that comes to mind first. Pick the one that seems the easiest at the time, and go with that and test it. Because it doesn't matter how much you think about that, you will end up changing your mind in the future anyway, because you don't know how your customers are going to respond. And one of the biggest things that you've got to build is a customer base and relationships with those customers. It's the same as any other business. It's not different. But you can do it online a lot faster. So the faster you can make those decisions, the better you are off.
You've now got your site, you've got your products, you're able to transact on your site, so now how do you actually get people to buy? So a lot of entrepreneurs by nature are also good salespeople, which is great if you're dealing face-to-face. But when you're dealing with e-commerce, it's just it's not face-to-face. You can make it if you do it one way or another, but really e-commerce is just about dealing with the masses and dealing with them through platforms like Google AdWords and Facebook advertising and remarketing and various different platforms. Really and truly, your sales force is actually your marketing, because the marketing that you push out is what's driving customers to your site. And once they're engaging with you, that's when either your product content and your sales and your prices would actually convert them, or they would engage with you via an email, a phone call, or they'll walk into your office or your shop, and that's where you convert them.